Hello and welcome to another episode of the Soft Cover. Today, join me is Jayanta Ghosal, the author of Mamata Beyond 2021. He has been a political journalist over 4 decades, and he has chronicled the Chief Minister of West Bengal and, of course, very closely monitored and written this account of the 2021 elections, which was, of course, very fiercely fought here in the state of West Bengal. So one, when picks up a book, reads the back cover to understand what the book has to offer. And amongst the 3 paragraphs that's written, there is an interesting point where you have said that, Mamata Banerjee could very well become the next prime ministerial candidate for the opposition party. And, people have been, of course, closely monitoring the politics here in West Bengal, and especially about Mamata Banerjee after this victory where she was elected as the chief minister for the third consecutive term. What really prompted you to write this book? Because there was so much being spoken about in the media. There were a lot of articles about her in the newspaper. She was the talk of the assembly elections. So what really prompted you to pick up the pen and write this book?
Thank you very much, Sreyashi. Thank you, everyone. Actually, I am covering West Bengal politics and governance for the last 4 decades. And since 1984, when Mamata Banerjee defeated Somnath Chatterjee and entered into the parliament, I am in Delhi for the last 37 years. So I am a non-resident Bong. And I am covering parliament also. In Delhi, I have seen that 7 terms Mamata Banerjee was in parliament. And Mamata Banerjee, the popular perception that she is actually temperamental, she's emotional, she doesn't go by the reason. But actually, I have seen that lot of changes. It's a political metamorphosis of Mamata Banerjee. When she started, she was emotive, she was impulsive. She actually, I used to call that Pavlovian reflex action. That is her politics. But now, no, actually, a lot of people, they don't know that Mamata Banerjee has changed a lot in her style of functioning, internal reasoning. And a few people in TMC, they told me that the credit goes to PK. But I found that PK is advisor, PK is a very important role, no doubt of it. I don't underestimate PK's role, but he is strategist. He's not politician. Till today, he's not politician. He's advisor and strategist. He used to give inputs. But Mamata Banerjee has a very strong common sense, and common sense is very rare sense. And Mamata Banerjee, what she is thinking, that it is not the prime ministership is the goal. She's very mature. I asked her. She told me that not the prime ministership, but our goal, not mine, our goal is to oust this Modi government. So because I am the opposition leader, that is my political goal. And for that, the purpose, we should need a political opposition unity. Mamata Banerjee knows that Trinamool Congress, they have only 42 seats in West Bengal. If he gets 40 seats, you leave 2 seats for Darjeeling. If she gets 40, that is also not very cakewalk and not that easy. And politics is never ending. Each and every day there is a developing situation. And I have written a book on a developing situation. It's more difficult. I am not writing a book on what VP Singh did or what Narasimha Rao did. It's not history. It's a developing political scenario. So actually, Mamata Banerjee told me on record that we want opposition unity. Modi regime, it's a leviathan. They don't underestimate Modi. They cannot say publicly. But internally, that's why I am saying that a lot of people, they don't know what the assessment of Mamata Banerjee on Modi, Amit Shah. To combat person like Modi, I'm telling leviathan, to combat that machinery, she doesn't think that without Congress she can achieve. That's a popular myth that she's confronting Congress, she's against Congress. Actually, it's not. She knows that in Gujarat, it's Congress versus BJP. Gujarat election is coming. Karnataka, it's a Congress versus BJP. Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan. So, but why she is confronting? 2 reasons I have written and I explained. That one is she wants political growth of her own party. If you want to grow, you cannot compromise and you cannot grow. In left front also, the smaller parties, Forward Bloc, RSP, CPI, they are dead because they became the B team of CPM. So Mamata wants to confront with Congress also in the region where they don't have the political organization capability. But that doesn't mean that she is anti-Congress. And number two, Pranab Mukherjee told me once that if you want to take loan from a Mahajan, you should wear a very costly ring, so that in fact the bankers also, they do the same thing. They watch the profile first to give before giving the loan. So actually, the political capability, political organizational bargaining power with Congress, she wants to increase so that it can be more negotiable in future before 2024. That doesn't mean that she's against Congress. She wants to be the fulcrum of opposition unity. And I wrote that after 2021, although she doesn't have the organizational and she doesn't have any MLA and MPs in UP or Bihar, she didn't contest also in UP. But she has become a symbol of secular opposition forces, and not only the opposition parties, the civil society, a section of liberal media. So it's a social media. So she wants to be the brand equity of the opposition conclave. So I have written the background of that stories from 2021 victory to 2024. What are the game plan of Mamata Banerjee?
Okay, so when we talk about this book, sir, of course, when you've written this, the UP elections were not done, the Punjab elections were not done, they were upcoming. But this opposition unity that you do stress about, that's something that we've seen before in the past as well. Before the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, they in fact came here in Kolkata's Brigade Rally Ground, which was arranged by Mamata Banerjee. There were all the opposition leaders. There was a show of strength. What do you think, because you've chronicled, you've spoken to her at length, what do you think is different this time when if they come under a larger umbrella and they get, the common minimum program that they are working towards? If that happens, what do you think will be different from 2019 till when we actually go for elections in 2024?
Frankly speaking, I should tell my readers, my audience also, that this is from my side, from author side, I should make this note, because I have not written that note in my book, that this book is not a prejudiced book on Mamata Banerjee. I think it is very important, because I am not wearing any jersey of TMC or Mamata Banerjee. The Western authors also, they do the same thing. They can write biography of a Republican Party leader and the Democratic leader simultaneously. That's the beauty of our journalistic independence. I have written this, even I'm giving you one very secret information from my side, that manuscript I didn't show Mamata Banerjee, because I know the politicians in general, not only Mamata Banerjee, they always very choosy on the words. They want to dictate the journalist. That is the usual practice.
So after it's been published, you showed it to her.
After it became published, she asked me one thing, and she told me one thing. She was not very happy that I didn't show the manuscript. She said that, okay, I will read the book and cover, photo, everything is fine. But I don't know whether I know you. So I'm very little skeptic that what you have written, whether I said that it's not a pro-Mamata or anti-Mamata book. I'm a political analyst. I have given the political credit of BJP that in 2018 and 2019, how they grown in West Bengal. Because BJP was not in opposition. The Congress, CPM, they're dead. They are dead. And BJP got 18 seats in 2019. And before 2019, I took interview of Mamata Banerjee, said prolonged interview published in Indian Express. And Mamata Banerjee told me that, yeah, opposition, BJP can be the opposition, because I cannot dictate who will be the opposition. That is not my duty, that whether Congress, CPM will be the opposition or BJP. BJP hoga, but it's okay, maybe few seats. She never expect 18 seats. She thought 5-6 seats. But that huge 18 number and become the main opposition, and that was Lok Sabha, So Narendra Modi factor was there, Pulwama factor was there, Jai Sri Ram factor was there in West Bengal. And I wrote that time, in fact, in this book also, that I was amazed that not only the Hindi-speaking West Bengal people, but the Bengali Bhadralok also used to give Nara of Jai Sri Ram. So this is a new Bengal in 2019. But that credit also you have to give in Mamata Banerjee, that after 2019, she immediately changed the strategy. And she was not antagonistic to the slogan of Jai Sri Ram. She said that not Jai Sri Ram, now you should say Jai Siya Ram, because you cannot ignore the Sita. You know, in UP, you will not understand the gravity of this coinage. But in Bengal, it's not Hindutva, it's more Bengali identity. In fact, one liner, if you ask me, I will tell, I have explained that Bengalis, they don't understand why this Jai Sri Ram slogan works heavily in UP. This is a very adrenaline secretion of the Hindi belt that Bengalis, usually they don't understand, isme kya hai, because we are more with Ramakrishna. That's a different philosophy. Ramakrishna Paramhans, he took, the initiation from the Islam also. So from all the religions. It's a very peculiar, because, you know, Vivekananda also not anti-Muslim. So I have explained all the Bengali identity. But Amit Shah, Modi, the BJP, they could not understand in 2021 that the Hindutva, they thought that the model, UP Bihar model, they will implement. But there should be a West Bengal edition. In fact, I have written that when McDonald's come to India, they introduce paneer burger, which is not popular in New York. But here paneer burger is popular because, you know, this is called appropriate technology. You have
So somewhere we can see that after Mr. Prashant Kishore was, you know, brought in by Abhishek Banerjee for the Trinamool Congress, of course, he has played a big role in transforming the party in way of the numbers that were probably not reaching the chief minister back then. Because, of course, we know how data intensive Prashant Kishore is as an advisor. So, I mean, that has somewhere, of course, helped, and you have mentioned it a few times here in the book. But again, because you closely follow the politics of West Bengal and you speak to the chief minister as well, and you observe all the politicians around you, if we look at the Trinamool Congress currently, it is still restricted within West Bengal. It hasn't yet opened books in other states, even though they are making inroads slowly and steadily. They have started shortlisting the states. They have started opening their party offices. Leaders from different states have joined the party. So there has been a transformation that's coming in, but the bigger transformation to become a nationally renowned party somewhere from, you know, up there in New Delhi to down south in Kerala, they should know what the, you know, Trinamool Congress is for it to become you know, a big party for the 2024.
Exactly.
How do you see the chief minister going forward with that? Because at the end of the day, she's also handling West Bengal. She's handling the party as well. We know that whenever there is anything internal that happens within the Trinamool Congress, it's Didi's words, that's the last word that's given, and everything settles down, all the dust settles down. So how is she going to really juggle this, you know, task that she has already in her hands? Her hands are full. And then again, of course, the national aspiration is a big one, and she would be requiring more power to do that.
Yeah. Thank you very much. It's a very good question, Sreyashi, because, you know, you have given me the opportunity to answer, because, you know, in this book, it's before UP election. Although I thought before UP election also, my assessment that BJP will win. And the interesting anecdote I am sharing, that Mamata Banerjee also used to think that BJP will win. She knew, and she told me. Even when I said, she asked me that what will happen to UP? You tell me. I said that, look, last time there was a communal polarization. This time there is no polarization. There is no riot. Akhilesh is doing. So I tried to give the positive points in favor of Akhilesh, so that is a possibility are there. Immediately she said that these are the more theoretical things. My report is that BJP will win heavily. I said, then you are going to campaign for Akhilesh. She told me, because I am campaigning for the opposition solidarity for 2024. If I don't do this, and if I should be with Akhilesh, wo to bachcha hai, I should be there with him, so that they will also reciprocate after the election. But she didn't give any candidate. And in Goa also, she was not in favor of this Goa adventurism. And later she told also to media that it was Abhishek and PK's ideas, and it's a trial and error, and they rectified that. But in UP, she didn't go, because her political strategy is to consolidate West Bengal, what you told also, because in Narendra Modi also became prime minister consolidating first Gujarat. So you have to consolidate first. You have to take the 18 seats from BJP. So you have to regain those seats. This is not very easy thing. So first consolidate West Bengal. Then beyond West Bengal, she doesn't have very big adventurism. Her plan, that 50 plus 15 seats, max 20, is maybe utopia. But a lot of people wants to join with individual aura, and they can get the seat and of their own popularity, local popularity, not with Trinamool organizational capability. And PK actually did some homework on that also. There are, like Amla Pati Tripaঠি's grandson, 1 seat. Like that, there are a few other people there are 2-3 people from BJP also can come, because they are not getting the ticket. Now they are dissident. In Congress also, there are some people, they can win a seat from Punjab. He can join TMC. So the only Mamata will give the symbol, and he can get some seats. So it's not a very massive, within 2 years, you cannot get a organizational growth, a huge long-term growth. It's a very short-term strategy for two years. But 2 years also not very short. She's getting 2 years also. But 2 points, what it is not in the book because it didn't happen also. Maybe I will add those aspects if I get opportunity in future. 2 things Mamata is also suffering now. One is violence. This violence, she will manage West Bengal, because there is no, in that opposition, the hegemony, opposition, credible capability to combat Mamata. And Mamata's welfareism, not only the minority, in general, for majority also, that welfareism is a very strong welfareism. Like what Jogi did in UP. Nowadays, all the politicians go for that welfareism, and Mamata is getting a result, heavy result. So this is, Mamata can combat West Bengal opposition. But Mamata's stature, for what I wrote, there is a dent. There are some fault lines are there. She has to repair that, because it's a developing situation. Again, always there are changes. So one factor is that violence and the Mamata's utterance, reactions. It is, there is a jolt in that prospect, on that dream before 2024. But she has 2 years time. And BJP will do what BJP is supposed to do. BJP will campaign this West Bengal violence not as a West Bengal phenomenon, to damage Mamata's national ambition. So look, this is the role, this is a West Bengal model, and that was the Gujarat model. So they can now will try to, that is BJP's job. So Mamata's future problem is this, to achieve this goal. And number 2, Kejriwal. The Kejriwal and Mamata's relationship is superb. I used to be there in South Avenue bungalow of Abhishek, where Mamata also used to stay. And Kejriwal used to come every occasion. And usually that was the first meeting in Delhi. And Kejriwal used to touch her feet, Didi. And so there was a sister-brother relationship. But in politics, this ambition, the individual. So Kejriwal has got 2 states now. Mamata has only 1 state, Delhi. But the number 7 plus 13. So Kejriwal's number is 20 Lok Sabha seat. But Mamata's seat is still 42. So if we say that with 42 seats, you cannot be prime minister, then with 20 seats, how Kejriwal also will be the prime ministerial candidate? But Kejriwal is Hindi speaking person. And Kejriwal's brand equity, he has also welfareism. And I think sometimes I said that Mamata's impulsive politics has changed, but still there is a DNA. I mean, it's changed, but a lot of, changes. In 1984, what Mamata was, and today, 2022, it's not. But, Kejriwal understands Delhi psyche more than Mamata.
He's closer to the power corridors.
Yeah.
He's the prime minister's neighbor, if we can say that.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, Kejriwal is a right-wing character. He is not left-wing, although he is from Aam Janata Party, and his clientele is poor people. And Prakash Karat once told in an interview that he is taking the left space also for this mass, interest of the mass. But actually, he is a Anna Hazare Kejriwal, that is a right-wing politics. And in Delhi politics also, our campaign was ki upar mein Modi ko support karo, niche Delhi mein Kejriwal ko karo. So a lot of BJP people also voted for Kejriwal. So that was a very Kejriwal. And interestingly, PK is Kejriwal's advisor also.
Of course, yes.
So these are the very interesting things. But Kejriwal and BJP will give oxygen. If I am BJP, if I am a BJP leader, that is my job. Because to divide the opposition, the best way is that there are several prime ministerial candidates. So now Kejriwal will start campaign state-wise along with the Punjab chief minister, and he will go to West Bengal also. So if Kejriwal goes to West Bengal with Punjab chief minister and say going against Mamata Banerjee, who the last laugh will be Narendra Modi's laugh. So these things are now, it's in a very fluid situation. Mamata will come, there will be a lot of meetings. Sharad Pawar is a patriarch. He is also trying to make the unity. Mamata Sonia meeting is very soon, it is going to be held. So I am saying that what I have written, that is a futuristic plan of action. And ifs and buts are there. But now the actualizer, the taste of the pudding in its eating. So I have not, I have not ate the pudding, but I have given all the art of possibilities. This is the politics.
When we're talking about possibilities, suppose Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee really, clinches that seat there in New Delhi and becomes the Prime Minister. Of course, lots of odds, a long battle ahead, and it's an hypothetical situation. Then what happens to the Trinamool Congress here in West Bengal? Because so far we've seen how she's held on to the party. She's the only glue in the party, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, covering the Trinamool Congress here in West Bengal as a ground reporter. But of course, if she becomes the prime minister, in that point in time, she has to let go of her party's internal matters at a large way. Because if we look at Narendra Modi, of course, he does, keep track of his party, but he has a bigger worry to think about being the prime minister. The responsibilities are humongous. In that case, who then holds the helm here in the Trinamool Congress? Will it be Abhishek Banerjee? Because we have seen the posturing of Abhishek Banerjee, and of course, being so close to Mamata Banerjee. Of course, we know that she really, when she trusts someone, she really goes all out and trusts that person. To win her trust is something that's very important for any leader here in the Trinamool Congress. So what do you think about the party? Will that be a problem or a headache for Mamata Banerjee if at all she becomes the prime minister?
This is also a very difficult question. Mamata Banerjee is glue in the national politics also, in spite of these negative factors. I mentioned 2 factors. In spite of that, she has a very proactive relationship with Sharad Pawar, KCR, even Uddhav Thackeray. President election is coming in April. So already they have started the dialogue over phones. And in fact, there is a proposal to bring Mamata Banerjee in Delhi just after UP election. And again, Mamata Banerjee said that now it's a BJP's victory. So there is a euphoria in the BJP sympathizer workers. This is not the right time to start the Federal Front initiative or so. But they will do this. So Mamata will be more active in Delhi, no doubt of it. And if VPC in 1989, he didn't have Janmarcha, didn't have any organizational state-wise strength. but he became like and Mamata Banerjee, I'm not comparing with his JP. That I am not doing. I have never written that. But Mamata Banerjee, today's politics, she is not from Hindi heartland. So for Kejriwal is from Hindi heartland, from Akhilesh and from Tejashi, they are more comfortable with Mamata because there is no threat, because she is from West Bengal. Like Pranab Mukherjee was a Bengali finance minister. For Indira Gandhi, it was more comfortable, because Rajiv Gandhi and VP Singh both were from UP, and what happened with Rajiv Gandhi and VP Singh, that was the part of the history. So there are a lot of political interesting issues. But what your question is, that in Gujarat also, if a big tree, and if the tree is missing, after Modi, Gujarat is also suffering. Although there is a pan-Indian party, they are in power, they have the RSS, Jansangh, there are a lot of support base, what Mamata doesn't have. And one Banbasi Samiti, you don't know what they are doing in the Gujarat desert area. Silently, the RSS they are doing. So, I mean, there's a very interesting political dynamics in BJP RSS, what Trinamool Congress doesn't have. So, in spite of that, post Modi in Gujarat, look, a lot of changes. That experiment with the lady chief minister didn't work. So she became governor. So Mamata is also watching all these things. Abhishek is a natural choice, no doubt of it. That is an inheritance, political inheritance. But, there are recent developments that Mamata, Abhishek, whether there is a, break, whether there is a bitterness, whether there are a lot of gossip, lot of stories, the factual position is, what I told and I wrote also, there is no rift between these two characters. In fact, even the senior 1 and 2, always there are some groups it develops. Even with Bajpayee, Advani. And Advani, Kalyan Singh was Advani's man, but Advani expelled Kalyan Singh because he criticized Bajpayee. And Baghela was Bajpayee's man, but Bajpayee expelled Baghela because he was against Advani. So number 2, there was no problem, but the sycophants, the groups, they actually became victims. Here also, I wrote also that Mamata, Abhishek, actually there is no rift. But Mamata and Abhishek, there is a major age difference. Abhishek is 87 born, 33 years old. So Mamata thinks that she should also learn. Still he is training, Mamata thinks. And the old girls should be, on board. And she has not become Mulayam Singh Yadav. So, and Abhishek has not become Akhilesh. So there is a difference, even not Tejashi. So there is an age and there is a, so Mamata is still in the key character of the helm of affair. Prime ministership is a completely hypothetical situation. But the Delhi politics involvement, if it is more with Mamata, even Sonia Gandhi was not prime minister, but she was the chairperson of the UPA. Mamata can be the chairperson, or there is a proposal to be, she can be the convener of UPA, and she will have to give more time. So before prime ministership, she can depute someone. So all these speculations are there, and Abhishek is choice. But when it will happen, how it will happen, and what is your question, that West Bengal can suffer. So I don't think that before 2024 election, there is no succession plan. Because, immediately the public opinion, because now everybody wants to see Mamata in West Bengal. So there cannot be any change. So after 2024, what will happen? So the future will determine what future will be.
You've, of course, also in your book spoken about how you traveled with, the chief minister during the election. You traveled to various districts as well. Do you somewhere feel that the people of West Bengal might, vote differently for the Lok Sabha elections versus how they vote for the assembly elections, given, the dynamics on ground at those elections are extremely different, because here you're choosing your MLA, there you're choosing your member of parliament. And I think, people in West Bengal are very politically aware, be it in the rural areas or the urban areas. They know the politics that's playing around them always. So
Yeah,
do you feel that there will be any change in the pattern
yeah,
of voting here in the
yeah.
state?
Exactly. I agree. Yeah, I mean, answer actually in your question, there is an answer. Because, this Lok Sabha election is a Narendra Modi's election. Whether you want Narendra Modi or not. But in West Bengal Assembly election, Narendra Modi will not be the chief minister. So in UP election, the Amit Shah, on the first campaign, he said that if you want to see Narendra Modi in 2024, you vote for BJP in West Bengal. I think they will do the same thing. In Assembly election, it is after Lok Sabha election. So in the Lok Sabha election, when it will come, they will say that Mamata is here. And after Lok Sabha election, Assembly election will come after 4 years or 3 years. But now, if you want to see Narendra Modi, then you should vote for BJP. So the campaign will be different in BJP. But Mamata Banerjee, the BJP's main problem that Narendra Modi did lot of public rallies in last Assembly election. And Modi has tremendous popularity in West Bengal also, I'm saying. Because 30% Muslim vote, if BJP they don't get Muslim vote, then in 70%, if they get 35% vote, then it is a Hindu vote, whatever caste it is. So that vote, West Bengal people, they didn't give BJP for Dilip Ghosh or any other person, not even Suvendu Adhikari, and no match with Modi. So Modi is the most popular leader of this country, not Mamata Banerjee. But Mamata Banerjee is the most popular opposition leader to combat Modi. So I say that it's a number 1 versus number 2 fight now. And Kejriwal is competing for that number 2 post of the opposition. But in election campaign, whether Modi factor or Mamata factor, what will work? Because it's a Lok Sabha seat. But this welfare politics in rural area, what you are saying, when I go to the district, Mamata is like a goddess. Because, there are poor people. They don't have job. The economists can argue that whether this is good for our long-term economic reform, economic politics, it's a dull politics, a lot of criticism you can. But the electoral politics, Mamata is beneficiary. If you get the unemployment allowances for 2,500 rupees per month, the poor unemployed boy, the father, mother, they are ailing, he is happy. So the women, they are getting money. Even the Sastho Sati for the health card. And I checked whether they are getting the advantage or not, because it's a lot of schemes we can see only in the DAVP ad. But in ground reality, in ground zero, whether it is seen or not, I checked. I have seen, 5 rupees in West Bengal, urban Calcutta also, in rural areas also, 5 rupees anda curry and rice at 1 p.m. There are mobile van and the women brigade, they are giving that. They are also got job. And that is a subsidy. And I don't know whether it's good economics or not. Kejriwal also did the same thing with the electricity and so, and I checked whether the food is good or not. I told my driver that I want to join into this queue. He said that, no, I am going, you should not go. I said that, no, I want to have my own test actually. And I tested and it was good. No doubt of it. No doubt of it. So this quality control is there. So I think everything you cannot criticize that Mamata is. I am criticizing there are several issues of TMC also. But this welfareism, and I don't know what will be the Modi strategy 2024.
Yeah.
Earlier Pulwama was there. I don't know what will be happening in the war front, China front, Ukraine issue.
What will be the trump card?
What will be the trump card? What will be the issues? How Mamata will, because you cannot underestimate this Modi, Amit Shah, BJP also.
Yeah.
But for a journalist, it will be interesting. It's a very interesting fight.
Before I let you go, Mr. Ghosal, if you could tell us if the Chief Minister has read the book and gotten back to you and given a feedback, or what she had to say.
Because what I did, I didn't show the manuscript. She is happy, and she told me in the Calcutta book fair, I met her. She asked me that the response of the books kaisa hai in Calcutta. I said that in Calcutta it's available in several bookstores. There you can get. In all the airports I was watching, and in the Delhi bookshops I gave the feedback. All these Delhi bookshops I went and I have seen. And the most interesting thing, that the BJP people are also buying these books heavily. Because, if you want to criticize someone, why BJP lost the plot in West Bengal, BJP should know first. Because Mamata knows that why BJP lost the plot. The BJP leaders, BJP sympathizers, one UP Lucknow BJP sympathizer text me, that I didn't know this lot of issues, because I see BJP from Lucknow. Lucknow BJP and Bengal BJP is not same. Although Sama Prasad Mukherjee is the Bengali founder, but the West Bengal BJP and the Lucknow UP BJP. So this is a very irrespective of your clientele. And Mamata Banerjee suggested one thing that also I think I can share. I am not a very cautious person. She told me that it should be translation in Bengali. I said that the publisher will take care of that. But but why you have not launched it simultaneously in Calcutta Book Fair in Bengali? Because a strong Bengali audience is there on this book, and it's not a sponsored book. It's not a, so I cannot keep this book in my party publication. There is a stall, Jago Bangla. So they didn't keep this book because it's all other Oxford, and they are, but not party book it is. So she said that there should be a Bengali publication, and Jago Bangla party publication we will not publish. But there are several Bengali good publishers. I said that Harper will take care of that. But I think there is a marketing strategy also in Amartya Sen book also. It's a very Amartya Sen kaha hai, main kaha. But the strategy is same, that Amartya publishes English books first. And the Bengali, all Amartya's English books, they translate in Bengali, but after 6 months, 1 year. Because the Bengali readers also read the English books. Huge English readers are there in Calcutta. So near about 80% literacy. We are proud that we have a very good clientele in English books also. So they don't want to destroy their own market. I told Mamata. So Bengali book definitely will come and publisher will take care. But now the English book is a hot cake. So she is very happy.
Great. Thank you for speaking to us on the soft cover. You can now get this book on the bookshelves across bookstores in the country. And of course, if you want to know what really went behind making Mamata Banerjee who she is today and the aspirations that she has, this is the perfect chronicle. Thank you, Mr. Ghosal, for joining us here on the soft cover. It was great speaking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.